everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 40 of Direwolf20's Not Too Complicated series, where today I'm working on Antimatter. Last episode, we got a fusion reactor going, and we got the SPS casings going, and we got everything ready for Antimatter, and I'm purposely not turning around because I did some work between episodes to help speed up the production of Antimatter, because realistically, our real gap here on Antimatter is the burning of fissile fuel into, the spent fuel, right? So if we look at Antimatter, really the only way to get it, Antimatter is with this stuff, right? So Antimatter pellets come from Antimatter. Antimatter can come from Antimatter pellets, or in a supercritical phase shifter with polonium, and polonium only comes from nuclear waste, which only comes from fission reactors. So I sat down, I did some math, and I realized it would take a really long time of just letting my game idle to make the antimatter that I need, at least for these guys that we're going to use to make universal mass. And if we want to get the antimatter that we need for this, it's going to need a lot more, because holy cow. So here's what I did between episodes. I made two much bigger reactors, and, well, a much bigger reactor and a much bigger steam turbine. So he's still filling up with water, but he is running because we've got enough water into him. So basically he's a 15 by 15 reactor. So you can see he's kind of almost an entire chunk. One block short of an entire chunk on each side. So one short here, one short here. And then the turbine is the same deal. So really quite big, setup that I did here, and it really just mirrors the exact same thing we did here. So I did it all off camera because it was just a lot of crafting. Obviously, we've got basically unlimited resources at this point between the EMC that we have and the steel seeds and all the osmium seeds that we needed. So I had to throw those guys into some pots for a bit, but overall, not bad. Not too bad, just lots and lots of crafting. So it's literally built the exact same way as these two, right? So just, a square with all the things inside of it, right? And then we've got an output for the waste tank going into there. We've got a bunch of water piping in, which is pretty much, we have a net gain on water with our current temperature settings. And then I repeated this thing for the on-off switch, right? So pretty much identical setup. Have a bunch of steam outputs, though it looks like one pressurized tube for steam is enough. Though you do need a lot of water returns to keep this thing cooled off. So I've got quite a few water returns going on here. But overall, not a bad thing. Remember, this guy is pretty easy and cheapish to make, but this guy is expensive with all the fission reactor casings. But, the floor being made out of glass and the roof being made out of glass makes it a lot less painful in this pack, because steel casings are the hassle to make. So that said, how much are we producing? So over here, we have this guy set to 50 millibuckets per tick burn rate, which means we're making 50 millibuckets of nuclear waste per tick. This guy is currently set at 200 millibuckets per tick. He can get up to 735 millibuckets with this setup, right? So with this size reactor, with this size thing, I haven't tried pushing it that far yet, but at some point we might wind up doing it. But the reason I'm doing 200 here and 50 here is we are thresholded by our actual production of fissile fuel. So if I bump this guy up to 210, let's say, boom, we'll find that we're about to start having a slight net loss of fissile fuel. And the reason for that is this guy's producing about 256 millibuckets per tick of fissile fuel. So with the 200 here and the 50 here, we're at 250. This guy's making 256. See how we have a slight net gain now? It's going upwards. So basically, if I want to push this further, which I could bump it up to 700, which would be 500 more. I would want to do 2 more sets of this design. Now, this looks different to you guys if you were paying very close attention when I built it. And the reason it looks different is I had to increase the amount of some of the resources we're producing. So over here, we were making 1 batch of sulfur dust. I needed 2 batches of sulfur dioxide to keep up with the 256 that this guy needs to make, right? And that's making sulfur trioxide. We're in good shape with that. Plenty of water and steam coming in and all that stuff. This guy needed, you know, more sulfuric acid, basically. And he's splitting his sulfuric acid to 2 machines, 1, 2, making hydrofluoric acid. So you can see this guy's barely keeping up, right? So hydrofluoric acid, this is what we need. 2 dissolution chambers, both fully upgraded with gas upgrades, in order to manage and make enough hydrofluoric acid. So basically we had to double the amount of sulfur dust we're using and double the amount of the distillation chamber here, and that's now processing enough hydrofluoric acid. And then on the right, we needed a lot more chemical oxidizers because, you know, we just did. So these are all fully upgraded. I've got 6 going here. Now, realistically, we don't need 2 sets of enriching factories. I could probably have pulled this off with 1 enriching factory spreading out to 6 chemical oxidizers. So if I were to redo this at some point, I would probably do that. I might make another batch of all these machines, though, and basically double or triple the production of fissile fuel. Because right now, like I said, we're making 250. We can handle 735 plus 50, which is 280-ish. So if I set up 3 rows of these, right, so I've got 1, if I did 2 more sets of these machines, I'd be making right around 750 millibuckets, which would be enough to bring this guy up from 200 to 700. And then we'd be in good shape. So I might do that. We'll see. We'll see. Long story short, though, we're producing way more fissile fuel. If you look here, we're producing about 0.025 millibuckets per tick. So let's extrapolate that real quick, right? Because it's all math. Everything's math. Math is math. So this guy's making 256, right? The fissile fuel over here is 250. So we're doing about 250 millibuckets per tick. Well, probably exactly 250 millibuckets per tick is being burned. If we look inside our solar neutron activator, we'll see we have nuclear waste 256 millibuckets per tick, right? So it's actually burning it exactly that much. And that is producing, remember nuclear waste is a 10 to 1. So it's 10 millibuckets becomes 1 millibucket. So you're, and it's nighttime now, so that's part of the problem. So let me go sleep through that night. But basically we're doing, like I said, 256 millibuckets per tick of nuclear waste. That's converting to 25 millibuckets of polonium. And remember, polonium to antimatter is 1,000 to 1. So that's where we're getting our 0.25. Now what's going to happen is this is going to fill up for a sec because we had a little bit of backlog buildup while it was nighttime. But don't worry, it'll very quickly go down. And all the power that I'm producing, by the way, in this guy, which is currently sitting at 11 million RF a tick, is dumping right into our SPS to make this thing burn very, very quickly, which is very cool, right? So he's already drained out. This guy's going to start draining out now. And we'll see that currently we're processing at 0.39 based on the power that we're producing. That's how much we can process. But we're now producing around 0.25 to 0.26. So at 0.25 millibuckets per tick, and we need 1,000 millibuckets to make an antimatter pellet, right? So follow this math because it's actually pretty simple math. 0.25 millibuckets per tick times 20 is 500 millibuckets per second, right? Because 0.25 times 2 is 50, times 10 is 500. So 500 millibuckets per second, which means 1,000 millibuckets in 2 seconds, right? Or I'm sorry, 1 millibucket, right, in 2 seconds. So it's 2,000 seconds, which is about half an hour to make an antimatter pellet. So with this thing running at full blast, it's going to take about half an hour to make an antimatter. And I've waited until we got about 4 antimatter pellets, and we're coming up on our 5th pretty soon. So you can see it's taking about 2 seconds per millibucket. If you count, you can see it's about 2 seconds per millibucket here. So we need to, you know, extrapolate, and we can assume that it's going to be about half an hour-ish to get an antimatter pellet. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Like I said, we can probably about triple that, which would mean it would take about 10 minutes to get an antimatter pellet. All I would have to do is create more fissile fuel. So what I'm going to do today is figure out how the mechanism line of this stuff works out, okay? So first we have to make a mass fabricator. So let's bring down the list of things we need to make, right? So a mass fabricator, this guy, right? Let me do this in this way. I want it to be here. And then we also want the mass fabricator. And then we also want the scanner, I presume. Have I ever done this before? Maybe I have. I don't know. I can't remember. I know I did it like with IC2, but I'm not remembering if I did this with Mechanism before. And then we're definitely going to want some recyclers, which look pretty cheap, luckily, to make the scrap. And then we're probably going to need some of this pattern storage stuff, and that should all be cool. So my understanding is basically like IC2 used to work. We're going to dump items, any items, into a recycler. It's going to produce scrap, which we can use to make scrap boxes, which we can then dump into a mass fabricator to make it more efficient. But generally, the mass fabricator is going to produce mass with RF. Cool. Now, I have no idea how much RF it's going to need, but we're producing a lot of RF right now, so maybe we'll be in good shape with that, because I think we're in like the 20 million RF a tick range, which ain't too shabby. Cool. So we can just redirect all that RF from over there to the mass fabricator. And we can use the priority system of Flux networks to say, hey, give the SPS however much it needs, and then put the rest, you know, into our mass fab, or something else, or we can just throttle it with numbers. I mean, there's a lot we can do because Flux Networks is cool. So let me get to crafting now that I've done a bunch of talking and told you guys what I worked on. I will say that we need one of these to make the mass fab, and then we needed another one for the matter synthesizer. Okay, so we need two of those. Now, matter synthesizer, matter analyzer, recycler. There was something else that we could make. Changing matter back to energy with big losses is the matter analyzer. So I'm just going to make it all because I'm not entirely sure how it works. Turns universal matter back to energy, but you won't get the full energy back at max efficiency 20%. Oh, so we probably don't want that, right? We don't need energy. We have plenty of energy. So I'm not even going to bother making that. But I will make the fabricator and the synthesizer, both of which need this dude. So let me get to work. Yeah, be right back. All right, crafting complete. So now, let's set this up. I'm going to plop it over here, I feel like is a good spot. And then, you know, if we need to do more, we'll do more. So let's start with the mass fabricator. Hooray! A strange part of the matter. Sweet. Mode solid, mode fluid. Oh, interesting. That's cool. I have no idea how this machine works, by the way, because it really doesn't seem to have any JEI level stuff in it. So matter synthesizer, I assume. Wow, okay. Replication. Yeah, these do not look familiar to me at all. I don't know what any of these buttons do. And then there's the scanner. Stored 0 out of 30. And that, I assume, needs one of these pattern storages, but I have no idea. So we've got that. Okay, so why did you not quest complete? Oh, because I didn't put this in my inventory? You're killing me, Smalls. But none of these have rewards. So yeah, when I crafted these, they never landed in my inventory, so it never actually marked the quest as complete, which is super annoying. I'd like this all to be marked complete. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't feel like going into cheat mode and cheating one in and deleting it. That's probably the best way to do it. I'll just mess with all later. I'm not going to worry about it. And then the recycler, I'm going to plop here. Okay, cool. Now, I'm assuming you all need power. So, ultimate universal cable. And then we'll figure out how much power y'all need in a bit. So let's start with the blue network, right? Which is our connected to our batteries over there. So that should be, yeah. Disable limit, sweet. So they should all be filling up with large amounts of power. Now, oh, look at you making universal mass already. Wow, that goes really fast. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You're just going to drain power like nobody's business, aren't you? Now, if I plopped, just for fun, so you, no, you. if I plopped just a flux point on top of you and disabled the limit, so you're getting 10 million RF a tick right now. Well then, I feel like we've got universal mass for days. At this speed, I'm not worried. I was all like, hey, we're gonna need lots of power. No, we're good. We're good. So let's do this. Let's do you, and you disable limit again. Now you are what? If I yank you out of there, you're gonna be really fast because you're outputting 10 million. You guys can handle 10 million? That's pretty wild. I did not realize that you could handle that much. How much can you store? I didn't think it was that much. 3.27 million is what your capacity is. Neat. But I guess you can, transfer faster than that. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. So anyway, there's your universal mass. Universal mass for days. Yeah, I was interested in like how this whole thing worked. Please insert storage card. So I guess that's this. Right click on a scanner to save scanned items. So scanner. So let's scan something and see if we can copy it with this. I have no idea. Let's try bucket. I'm just picking a random thing. Scan. Save? Oh, maybe I have to leave it in there and then hit save. Okay. Scanned item save to pattern storage. Please insert storage card. I'm trying. Oh, bucket cannot be replicated. Wah, 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 wah. That's a shame. How do I know what can be replicated then? And can I clear what's been saved? That's another thing. All right, so that does that. All right, so like what can be replicated? That's a huge question. So like I'm gonna put ultimate universal cable in there. Save. Click. Boop. Universal cable cannot be replicated. All right, you're not making me too excited. I'm assuming maybe like the only things that can be replicated are the things that universal mass can make. Is that like a fair guess? So let's do like coal. Not that we need to, because EMC. I'm assuming most of the things that can be replicated with this also have EMC, which means that it's not going to be a whole useful system for me, but it would still be fun. Right, I have to save it, then link it, then this, then change this. Okay, so 3 millibuckets of liquid matter. So I assume what I would want to do then is switch this mode to fluid mode. He's making millibuckets, which I assume are going into here maybe somehow? Tank, okay. So we probably want to mechanical pipe you over to here. Hey, there we go, okay. And then you've got, yeah, neat. Stop. What do these buttons do? Does that go? This might be like a... I'm assuming this is like a run continuously button, and this is like a run once button. So if I click that, it'll make one piece of coal. Ha! Correct! Sweet. Okay, so I get it. So this is make one piece of coal and then stop. So watch, I clicked it. It's going to make the coal, and then it's going to stop. This is run continuous mode. I wish... it looks like this is work in progress-y, because it definitely feels like... There's no like tooltip showing you how much fluid is in there. It's not easy. So obviously coal is on the list of things we can make. I'm assuming almost all of you have EMC, right? Osmium, but we have seeds for that. Lava buckets. I mean, I'm not steel. I'm also not super thrilled about that. Another thing that we have. Antimatter synthesizers are things that we can... Oh, because that... Right. Okay, no, that makes sense. Emerald ore, tin, lapis, coal, snow blocks, leather. Okay. I mean, that's kind of cool. Because what we could do... So what we could do is we could make emerald ore. Right? And then we could scan it. Save it. Deleted pattern storage. Okay, cool. Oh, that's neat. And then you here. Emerald ore cannot be replicated. Killing me, Smalls. How about emeralds? How about emeralds? Straight up just emeralds. Save. Click. Emeralds can be replicated at 6 millibuckets. That's kind of cool. So now I don't know what to believe. How do I know what can be replicated? That's my problem, is I don't know what can be... And synthesizer, I'm assuming, is not going to have, like, a use thing. You know, it just shows me the recipe. I can't figure out a use for it. But that would be a cool way to, like, make EMC-ish, right? So for fun, let's try red matter, and let's try dragon eggs. One of these guys can make a dragon egg, and that's a decent amount of EMC. Just for fun, let's see what we can see, right? So you go in there, and dragon eggs can go in there. If I can replicate dragon eggs, at the very least, or red matter, that would be a fun way to get lots of EMC, right? I have to click it, that's right. Boop. Dragon egg cannot be replicated. Red matter cannot be replicated. Bruh. All I'm saying. It would be nice. How about nether stars? Can nether stars be replicated? That would be good to know. That would be good to know. And are you, like, filling up at some point? I assume... Yeah, this guy has to fill a bunch, but yeah. All right, cool. So save you. Click. Nether star cannot be replicated. You, sir, are not my friend today. But I mean, emeralds, meh. Obviously, my mob farm for emeralds is a lot. I'm just trying to think of, is there like a cool way that we can basically, effectively, this is RF to EMC, right? This is an RF to EMC converter if we do something like this, right? For 256,000 forge energy, we're going to get 16,000 EMC, which is not bad, right? Now, obviously, we're also burning a bunch of power, you know, like this, but it's our reactors, like, who cares, is my answer to that. And then if I put you back in solid mode, you should be cool, right? So now I could have you run, like, continuously and make emeralds, but... yeah, I don't know. I think what we could do is we could basically just have our mass fabricator... We've got mass, though. That's the point, is that we have universal mass, right? Universal mass for days. Hello, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's not how you treat your friends. But anyway, hey, we've got universal mass, so I'm excited about that. Long story short, that's cool. We don't even have to mess with the whole recycler thing, you know, because this, I presume, just makes scrap boxes. Or scrap. Now, if we got some mechanism speed and energy upgrades, are you guys gonna... Nope, you don't have any upgrade system. You don't have any way to speed you up. That's a bit of a bummer. Yeah, I'm guessing this is work in progress. Is this like a separate mod? Because it doesn't feel like mechanism. It is mechanism matter. I wonder if that's like an add-on mod or if that's made by the same team. I don't know. I'll have to go Google it. But long story short, what we can do is we could probably just have this dump into a drawer and then attach a export bus to the drawer and have the drawer fill up, and then that's all there is to it, right? So right now we're not burning any energy, right? But we will easily, if we need more mass, we just boom, and it's going to make stacks in, you know, split-second timing. You know, does not take long to make universal mass. So hey, let's go use that to make our Mark III Collector, shall we? Now, did I set that up, the Collector recipe? I don't think so, because I think it needs a ultimate crafting table. All right, you guys, we are back, and I'm making a digital miner. My goodness, what's going on? So, we got mass, which is cool. So now we can make our Mark III Energy Collector. The problem is the Mark III Energy Collector needs to be made in an ultimate crafting table, which I haven't made yet, for one very particularly good reason, and that is we need stellar alloy ingots in order to make the ultimate crafting table. And stellar alloy ingots is a whole crafting mess. So let me just walk through what it is. So we need to make stellar alloy ingots. Everything in this line is going to need the end resin processor. And the end resin processor is a multi-block that looks like this. There's several components to it. There's a processor, controller, there is a fluid input port, an energy input port, an item input port, and an item output port. And the gist is that we need to, in order for this to work, do a few things. So first off, we have to get stellar alloy ingots, which are made with melodic alloys and liquid lumicorn. Now, the good news is all the liquids here are made in the mechanical squeezer from one of those better end forge plants, right? So melodic alloys are made with end steel and these three resources. And again, it's just, you know, you get the stuff from the, which I'm probably going to be able to grow in a pot. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'm assuming most of these are growable in whatchamacallits, right? Hopefully that is true. End steel comes from dark steel and a couple other liquids, and dark steel comes from steel with 4 liquids. And this guy's energy, by the way, don't add this to JEI. Otherwise, you're going to have to go edit a config file in order to remove it. Adding it to JEI is not an ideal thing. Trust me, just don't mouse over this and press the letter A. Just don't. All right, so we've got, in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 liquids that we had to produce. So I went ahead and made myself, I added mechanical squeezers to the auto crafting system, and I made 10 of those, so that's exciting. So we're going to have to do pots into the mechanical squeezers to squeeze the liquid, to dump the liquid into the these guys. Now, my thought process is the easiest way to do this, more than likely, especially because we're going to need to automate it, and I suspect we're going to have some use for stellar oil alloys in the future, though not as much as you might think, though we can use them for Mark IV power pots. So, I mean, we don't need a ton of them, but I'd still like to automate it if I could. So the smart way to do this would be to have a multi-block for each type of block, because then we can just pipe our liquid lumicorns in. But I'll probably start making one. We'll do things a little bit manually, because I think most of these liquids are in a reasonable... They're all 500 millibuckets so far. Let's see, is that true for everything? Yes, 500 millibuckets. So the good news is we can just like put a bucket in and then get 2. So let's start with 1 multi-block, see how painful it is, and then decide, do we want to have 4 more multi-blocks? Because we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, so 3 more multi-blocks, right? 1 to make dark steel, 1 to make end steel, 1 to make melodic, 1 to make stellar. Because then what we can do is we can automate it. We'll insert steel and we'll get out dark steel. And then we'll insert dark steel and we'll get out end steel. And we'll insert end steel and get out melodic, etc. Now, I haven't really checked to see if these guys have a lot of uses. They may or may not. I mean, I can see that they're part of photovoltaic cells, but honestly, I don't think that we need to deal with that all that much, because solar power doesn't seem necessary when we're... The best solar panel we can get is going to be 32,000 RF a tick, and we're currently making like 20 million. So I don't feel that we need to get into solars, right? The only other thing stellar alloy ingots would be useful for, besides this ultimate crafting component, which looks like it's only used to make the tier 4 crafting table, which we probably only ever have to make once. The only other thing that this will be useful for is making power pot Mark IVs. So maybe full automation of this production line is not that big a deal. Now, in order to make these machines, there's some processes that we're going to have to go through. One of them is getting some netherite scrap. We're also going to have to make some advanced machine frames. Compressed iron, pistons, that's not a big deal. Block of signalum, not a big deal. Energy acceptors, compressed iron blocks, not that big a deal. We're going to have to make some item routers, not too terrible. Cool. So I'm going to say, I want to take this digital miner into the end, or into the nether, because I'd like to get some more ancient debris. Cool. And I hate this biome because things, but whatever. I'm going to pop you down. Hello, sand. I remember wanting to access the bottom of this thing, but now I'm wondering if that's true. Let's just throw you on our generators network. Does that sound cool? You've got power now. That's cool. I have to remember how to use this thing. Config, filters, new filter, item stack. I should have brought some ancient debris with me. But what I think I can do is show advanced tooltips. Netherite _ scrap. Minecraft ancient debris. Forge ores / netherite _ scrap. So I should be able to configure this guy with a tag filter that says forge : ores netherite scrap and save. And haha, look at that. Cool. And then your radius will be 32, I think is the max it can be, right? Yeah. And then min 0, max. I mean, netherite scrap is generally found, or ancient debris for that matter, is generally found pretty low, right? So let's do like 20. And if I start you, hey, nice. Why are we all sad faces? What's up, sad faces? Oh, that's funny. It's an April Fool's Day joke. I am recording this on April 1st. Oh no, now you all know how far my backlog is. Dyer's life is ruined. Why you know getting power? What if I did this? Now you're happy? Yeah, now you're happy. Weird. Maybe my generators are out for some reason. It's possible. It's very possible. Don't forget we can mechanism speed upgrade to all these things. I should bring some of those in here. Alright, now we're cooking. Wow, not a lot of ancient debris here, huh? Now, just to be clear, I want to make sure to test this and see. So stop, reset, config. Let's bring you at 40. And then start. Yeah, nothing here. Stop, reset. Okay. So you should remember your settings, if I'm not mistaken, when I break and replace you. But then we can pop over to here, for example. Pop that guy down, start, and then boom. Sweet. All right, cool. Auto eject off, auto pull off, self touch off. Yeah, we don't need any of that stuff. Nice. And then if there's any other ores or resources that we need to mine, or like, because ancient debris, remember, netherite we have seeds for. Ancient debris, not so much. Ancient debris, there's really no good way to get. I looked through JEI. There might be a cool way to get it, but I think this is probably your best bet for getting large amounts of ancient debris. So not too shabby. Yeah, that stuff's rare. All right, easy peasy. So now that we've got that covered, let's turn a bunch of this into scrap. I think I just do that, right? Yes. And now we're getting scrap. Perfect. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I think it's about time to wrap up the episode. So I'm going to craft all these things between episodes. Now, the good news is I went in and added them to the crafters. So if we did resin, we'll see that the auto crafting system knows how to make them because they're all in the gold tier crafter. So they're all auto craftable at this point. However, there's probably a handful of things that I need to add to the auto crafter, like the advanced machine frames. I can turn off F3H now, by the way. I might set this up. So this one's not bad because it needs pink slime. And everybody keeps telling me in the comments I don't need to lock the pink slime recipe down there. So I might try that and see if we can reuse that pink slime machine. But we will still need a simple machine frame, which is going to need latex. which, you know, etc. But I might do this manually because I don't think we have to make too many of these, right? We only need one if I'm only going to make one controller. So, yeah, no, I think we're fine. I'm only going to make one batch of these machines, and then we'll figure it out when we get back next episode. So for now, Double 20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Come back next time to get that stuff crafting. I do want to see what's up with you. Are you not running for reals, or what's the deal, network? Oh, yeah, no, you're out of fuel. Why are you out of fuel? What'd you run out of? I guess we ran out of uranium. I thought I was good on uranium, but maybe we're not good on uranium. No, we're good on uranium. So what's going on, uranium? Are you, like, stuck in a crafting? Because you might be stuck in a crafting. Yes, cancel. Alright, now you're happy again. I think I did that off camera, but I basically set it up so that uranium is a seed now. If that becomes a problem, I'll automate it another way. Probably using RF tools crafters. That would probably be the way to do that. But now we have to wait for all our reactors to fill back up, which is not the end of the world, but it is annoying-ish. Look at the temperature spiking all over the place. It's all good. And then you will probably be getting, I don't know, you're fine. You'll all catch up in a minute. Yeah, we have to wait for you. Let's get you just a little bit of a head start. Anyway, we very much need to wrap up the episode. So, Daryl 20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Where is my tablet? I don't even know. Probably somewhere. Yeah, we'll come back next time and get that end resin processing line going. Cool? All right. Take it easy.